If we could all get together in a crusade to end homelessness and temporary accommodation, we could do it, but it's going to take everybody working together.
Hi, I'm Laura Nielsen and welcome to Hope in the Deep End. We've put together this podcast to inspire us all to keep working in areas of deprivation and poverty. We're sharing best practice, stories, outcomes and some interesting thoughts and ideas. So whether you're working in primary care, secondary care, the charity sector or any of the other myriad of roles, please listen and help us to keep each other inspired.
Hello and welcome to Hope in the Deep End podcast. My name's Sam from the Shared Health Foundation and today we have Dame Siobhain McDonagh MP for Mitcham and Morden. Thanks for coming.
Thank you for inviting me.
So we're asking all our colleagues who have come in today. We're in Houses of Parliament at the moment. It's St Patrick's Day today. Lots of celebrations.
I don't normally dress like this, yeah.
Lots of celebrations going on. Your time as an MP has obviously been, you've been through many different prime ministers over your time, many different governments, in that government, out of government. What's been your route into politics? Why did you want to be an MP?
I didn't really start by wanting to be an MP. I didn't think people from my family, my background would ever become an MP. But I did have a view about the world and how things I wanted to support. As you can tell from my name, St Patrick's Day, it's an Irish name. For an Irish girl from a working class family in South London, in the 60s, early 70s, a lot of newspaper reading, lots of arguing about the priest's sermon on a Sunday. My dad worked on the buildings, my mum was a nurse. I simply believed that the Labour Party had done what I saw as the best things in our country, and I wanted to support that.
Yeah, and you started as a local councillor in your area.
I joined the Labour Party when I was 16, and then when I came back from university at about 22, I became a councillor because it wasn't a great time for the Labour Party. It's often not a great time for the Labour Party, and they were looking for people to stand for seats, and the members in Mitcham and Morden kindly supported me to be a candidate in Collier's Wood Ward, which is where I was born and where I've always lived and I still live.
Yeah, born and raised. So it's your area because quite often people might stand in areas that they're not from as well. Yeah. So it must be great kind of be part of your heritage and your...
Yeah, it's just lovely. And, people generally in Mitcham and Morden are so lovely to me.
So what made you want to go, I see Westminster, I see the kind of chaos and noise and all that, and you think, I'm going to be part of that?
I'm not really sure that's how I saw it. I mean, when I got elected in 1997, I'd only ever been here once before. I didn't really think about being here. I thought about winning for Labour and there being a Labour government. It took me quite a long time because... I stood in Mitcham and Morden in 1987 and lost. I stood in 92 and I lost. So really in 97, it was my third go. And after that, I realised that people were going to begin to say, I'm not sure you should do that again, Siobhan. So it was quite a journey. It was a journey I shared with my late sister, who was running the 1997 general election campaign. And it was just the idea that Labour could win a general election outright, that we could improve the NHS, make schools better for all kids. I mean, God help us, you're too young to remember some, but, one of our pledges was to get rid of outside toilets in schools. I mean, that is where we were. And... I look back so fondly on those years, 97 to 2010, and think about the things we were able to do.
And your sister was such a great force in the Labour Party, very well respected in her roles. Like, what do people talk about you two as a bit of a powerhouse that have been around in the Labour Party?
I think, again, I'm very fortunate. People are very kind to me. They're very generous. They liked Margaret. I mean, she... we were talking about it last night, the Fabian Women's Network. And the Fabians are like a society within the Labour Party, and they do meetings about women in Labour history, and what they teach us. And last night it was Margaret. And, that thing, actually, I think it was Andy Burnham who said when she died, how can somebody that feared be also that loved? I mean, Margaret would terrify the life out of you at 1,000 paces, but she was generous, kind, and so many people feel that she made a contribution to their life and the progress that they made.
Yeah, and your your legacy from her illness as well, that you're working through a bill in Parliament at the moment.
Margaret died of a glioblastoma brain tumour. It's a stage 4 cancer. It's only ever found out when it's at stage 4. Yeah. There's no progression. It's stage 4 when you've got it. Average life expectancy from diagnosis 9 months. 5-year survival rate 5%, no improvement in treatment in 40 years. And it's my ambition that working with a wonderful medical oncologist at UCLH, Paul Mulholland, that we will find a cure, or at least something that makes a significant progress in survival rates.
Fantastic. It must be so interesting to be an MP, to have so many different themes and campaigns. To obviously, Margaret's illness was kind of one that's dear to your heart, but how do you pick anything else? All the other things that are coming through you, constituents will be emailing and writing to you and telling you about things, and there'll be world affairs going on at the same time. How do you pick the right ones? Or
that's one of the wonderful things about being a backbench MP. Yeah. You get to decide the issues and the topics you work in. Yeah. Generally in your working life, you get told what to do or what the range of things that you do is. And being a backbencher, you choose your issues. The reason why obviously we know one another is through the All-Party Parliamentary Group for Temporary Accommodation. And I have a great interest in social housing and temporary accommodation, because having a safe and secure home seems to me a fundamental starting block for how the rest of your life actually advances. I was the receptionist at the Homeless Persons Unit at Wandsworth Council in southwest London in the mid-80s, and we had over 1,000 families at that time in B&B. I mean, they weren't in temporary, they were in B&B that long. So I understand the law very well. I'm very interested in it. And my advice surgeries, my weekly advice surgeries are just packed with people fearful of going to temporary accommodation because they're about to be made homeless, wanting to move out of the temporary accommodation they have been placed in. So it's so much part of what I do, and probably one of my most favourite parts of the job is doing casework and trying to help people. And one of the most frustrating things is simply not being able to do that.
Yeah, we've been speaking to a lot of different MPs over our kind of recording of this series, and that's the thing. MPs love their constituents and love the casework and really want to help, but it's so tricky to get anything done at times. Do you have what's been the best day in your career that you so far was like, that's the campaign that won, or that's the kind of great day I saw a really great success?
Well, there have been a few, obviously, because having been the MP for 28 years, I suppose I would say getting the banking hub in my constituency by making the chief executive of the organisation who decides on banking hubs come on the bus with me to check the bus timetable and the length of time on the route, getting the train station at Eastfields, which is the first suburban South London station in 100 years, improving the quality of our secondary schools. When I was elected in 1997, all our secondary schools were in the bottom performing 3% of schools in London, and London was the worst performing region in the country. Today, all of them are outstanding.
Wow.
And obviously that's down to the teachers and the pupils and the families. And I believe Tony Blair's government, because so much money was put into schools and there was so much focus on how you teach, which certainly wasn't there when I was at school. So, and I hope that I have a small part to play in that story by encouraging sponsors to come in and being willing to take on opposition to academies, because that was the route to improve the schools.
Yeah, what probably just shows why you've won constituency MP of the year many times, because all the amazing work that you've done over the years.
I think I'm blessed with a lovely constituency, a great Labour Party, and time when we can focus on the things that matter. Part of the problem is you get so many issues and you can be a bit magpie-like. You can see something shiny in another issue which just makes you turn away from what you're doing. So I think focus is really quite difficult because there's always so much to do.
What are you hopeful for?
I'm delighted that my local council, Merton, is building its first council houses in a generation. I just believe that if we could all get together in a crusade to end homelessness and temporary accommodation, we could do it, but it's going to take everybody working together. It's going to take the NHS with all the land they own, Transport for London, Network Rail. If it became the primary cause that you had to justify everything you own as a big public organisation, or it was taken from you and houses were built, I think we'd soon see substantial progress.
Fantastic. Siobhain McDonagh, thank you so much for joining us today. Really appreciate your time.